So the 7 Eyewitness News I-Team has been at the forefront, digging into the sex abuse crisis and how the diocese is responding here.
And our chief investigator, Charlie Specht, is joining us this morning, providing some perspective on what exactly this Child Victims Act means. Charlie, let's talk about how significant this is and point out this is not just a one-day thing.
That's right. There is a year-long window where victims of child sex abuse have the next year to file lawsuits. Already, the sun is barely rising here, and we have 96 lawsuits filed. Just to keep that in mind here, on a regular news day, one lawsuit against the Diocese of Buffalo would be a huge story. Now we have 96 cases filed within the first couple hours of this. So this is really unprecedented in the state of New York. You can see here the look-back window is 1 year long. So in other words, if there are survivors out there, no matter how long ago the abuse happens, they have the entire year to file these lawsuits. But of course, you see them getting a jump on it because it is a first-come, first-served basis. Well,
and I also thought what Steve Boyd said is that they're trying to put their most significant cases forward, their strongest cases forward, in order to get these victims compensated for essentially the abuse they suffered. That's important.
That's right. And you know, 96 cases filed in the last couple hours. 93 of those cases were against the Diocese of Buffalo. So the vast majority of cases here have been filed against the diocese, which points to some sort of systemic problem that these survivors have been talking about for the last year.
Well, let's talk about this. It's not just the diocese at all either.
No, yeah, talk to us about what other institutions you think are going to be named here.
So public schools, the Boy Scouts of America, public or private school districts, foster homes, youth sports groups, you know, coaches of predators often find these organizations as ways to access children. Already here in the first couple hours, we've had a lawsuit filed against the East Aurora Public School District for abuse that is alleged to have occurred in the 80s. The teacher stayed on as a gym teacher until the mid-2000s. We also have a lawsuit where 4 young men have already come forward and said they were abused as members of the Boy Scouts by their scoutmasters here in Western New York. So this really is going to expand from this initial wave against the church to other institutions.
So we have also reported on allegations in the Kenton School District, but I want to at least touch on this one in East Aurora, because I think this is the first time that we're actually hearing about this, and really would put the East Aurora School District in the hot seat here, and they would have to respond to these allegations, obviously through litigation. But I at least want to acknowledge this one filing. It was filed against Kathleen Ann Kirk, and you can actually go through this and see that this happened in the East Aurora Middle School between 1973 and 1975. She was a gym teacher. The abuse happened at a school, at Kirk's home, at the plaintiff's home, a camper in Marilla. The district was informed about this in 1977, but Charlie, as you mentioned, she stayed on until 2003. That is a huge deal. The school district knew about this.
So this is really the idea of institutional abuse, that when someone comes forward and reports something, it's not handled the right way. We see this in the Catholic Church, allegations made against the Diocese of Buffalo again and again, and what this is about is not just the survivors and the abusers, it's about how the institutions and the higher-ups respond to this. So that's going to be exposed here as these lawsuits move forward in the discovery process.
This will result in a cultural shift in our community and, of course, here in New York State. And right now on WKBW.com, you can see the 11 additional names of priests and nuns accused of sex abuse. Our overnight producers have been working incredibly hard to make sure that you're up to date on all of this that's happening while you were sleeping and, of course, what the Child Victims Act means for you.